The normal process of being teleported through time and space, and potentially dimensions, Nick was never entirely sure, was instantaneous. You placed your hand on the shop orb, which was often linked to a settlement orb, though not always, and then, bam, you were there. Not this time. Instead, Nick felt his body twisted and pressed, the very fabric of his reality torn apart and put together, microseconds stretching into an eternity each. In his mind's eye, or perhaps with his real eyes, he saw portions of his old life flashing by. A loving wife, working on a trailer with his father, long hours playing poker with friends. Then his present one mixing in. The poker players transformed from his friends into monsters from the deepest myths. Adam grew long, pointed ears, his naturally ombre skin darkening even further to the colour of a cloudy, moonless night. Leo suited his name, growing fur and fangs, his nose and mouth elongating into a muzzle, his ponytail transforming into tawny mane. Down by his right, Sam turned into a pixie, shrinking so she was barely taller than the wooden table. Monsters crept along the edges of the table, hiding in the shadows of cheap IKEA lamps. Goblins, 𝗀𝗍, werewolves, harpies. More. So much more. In the distance of the half-solid room, the windows of this dream world silhouetted even larger, nastier creatures. One shadow in particular kept coming closer and closer. Just before the windows broke apart as a 𝗂𝗵𝘁𝗆 crashed through, reality snapped back into place. Nick staggered, hand raised in fear to deflect the massive monster. Reflexive motion turned into swaying nausea, and he had to breathe fast and deep as he struggled to control his body. Thankfully, class resistances came into play moments later, snapping into place and stabilising his physical form. Interdimensional SHOPping, for all its various negatives, was meant for such trips. Not his first class, but resetting from junk of all trades was no big loss. If he had a choice when the apocalypse started and the system arrived, he would never have taken it. The fact that there was a choice, but he hadn't known to take it, Nick ignored with ease and practice. Some regrets weren't worth returning to. Anyway, the class reset was part and parcel of his new career. Intradimensional travel shock resisted. "Are you doing well, valued customer?" The voice was filled with concern, perfectly tuned and pitched to set one at ease. Female, older and matronly, and Midwestern. It was like a warm hug of a voice. Auditory charm resisted. Too bad he was ready for that kind of trick too. "Who are you? Where am I?" Nick cried out, shrinking back from the woman. Tall, beautiful purple hair that reached her shoulders, and not one, but 2 pairs of tits. She was offering him the most sympathetic smile he'd ever seen, and was even clutching his arm, pulling so it pressed against her. "You're in the smallest Big Bang supermarket, the galaxy's premier shopping destination for the discerning shopper," the alien lady chirped. "I'm your personal shopper, Vi, and will be happy to guide you around, Nick." "How do you know my name?" Nick said, startled. "I scanned you, of course. We do that for all our esteemed customers," Vi said. "It's not every day we get a gambler in here, though. It's not the most popular or survivable class choice on a dungeon world." Nick grunted. That had been his other option when the apocalypse came, and he'd agreed with her. Getting automatic attribute points in luck was one thing, but luck wasn't going to stop an enraged, overgrown hamster from eating your face.